How y'all doing out there? On today's edition of Beauvais MMA Roundhouse, we're going to touch on the next UFC card. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about Bellator and the fact that Eddie Bravo just purchased Metamoris. Today with me, and as always, is Dangerous Dustin Adams. How you doing, Dustin?
Good, good, you?
Excellent. All right, let's get right into this. We just seen the King Mo and Rampage fight, part two. Unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't think we seen Page do very much. He weighed in at I think it was 256, I believe. It was 250s anyway. He never moved forward. I think the one time he did, he landed actually a 3 or 4 shot combo on Mo and almost put him down and really scared Mo. And then he went right back to backing up. His idea for this was he didn't want Mo taking him down, so he figured he'd go to the cage. And if you notice, his back was to the cage the entire damn fight. And when it wasn't, he was actually doing good. Did you notice that? And what do you think about that?
I thought it was, dude, Paige did good. I mean, I think this fight could have went really either way, I guess. I mean, some people, judges see it different ways. He had his back on his fence. Mo had him pinned against the fence a lot and got some takedowns. I mean, I don't know. It went all around, so that it's in the judges' eyes. I guess Mo won, but I think Rampage defended well and threw some, actually, like you said, nice punches that stunned him at one point.
I agree. It was, I mean, other than a little bit, it was pretty much a mirror of the last fight, other than Page doing a lot less damage, unfortunately. I got to agree with the refs on this one. I mean, it was pretty close. I'm surprised they gave it was 29-28, I believe, and I got to agree with that completely.
Yeah, he did. I guess, like I said, yeah, he did good.
I mean, now the thing with this is vintage. This is what we see. This has always been the case. It's a matter of with Mo, he wins, he loses, he wins, he loses. And
Exactly.
every time in between, he talks too much.
Whereas, I don't know, Rampage has had quite a streak. I mean, fought nothing but really killers his whole career, but
Wasn't
Mo,
before this loss, wasn't he at
yeah,
5 wins?
it was. Uh, Aishi, Maldonado, King Mo, Mapumbu, and Joey Beltran.
Yeah, it was too bad to see Beltran get treated like that. He's a favorite of mine, but wow, that's when we seen Page throwing mega combos. He was actually in great shape because he wanted to look good for Bellator. I think just like when we seen him first come to the UFC, he did great. This guy, unlike a lot of people, he don't get new company jitters. He went in and destroyed him, and he did great.
Yeah,
And
no,
went on from that another 4 wins.
exactly.
What do you think, though? I mean, I don't know. Mo versus Bader. I think Bader's going to destroy him.
Yeah, I kind of agree on that. Like, Bader's, I don't know, I think he just out wrestles him all day.
It'll be a good matchup because they're both going to want to wrestle fuck each other, and I think Bader will do it better. My problem with Mo is he's just, even when he's on, he's off.
Exactly. He's up and down with his wins losses.
Yeah, he lost to Davis. He lost. Actually no, he beat Aishi. They both beat Aishi. That's who they have in common. He lost to Crow Cop, and then he just beat Page. And when I say barely, I don't mean like he put on a shitty performance. I mean he just barely beat him.
Exactly.
All right. Anyway, so from there, let's move on to It looks like a lot of people's opinions, as well as mine, Bellator could become a real good competition for UFC. And I mean, obviously it is now, but could they catch up to the global juggernaut that is UFC?
I believe being Viacom back, we're gonna see it happen at one point. I mean, Viacom has more money.
What's Viacom? A $5 billion net worth industry. And we've seen this proven time and time again. I mean, back in '08 when they brought on Revney, I don't think Bellator was sure. I think they were just waiting for the great UFC to put them under. But in '11, when Viacom came on, and it seemed like they started doing things differently. And when they really made the big jump, I mean, I wasn't a fan of it, but when they got rid of Bjorn Rebney and they brought on Coker, things really started to change, and Coker started spending money correctly. Now everybody can say, "Hey, listen, you guys bring on too many old UFC fighters." Yeah, they do, but they also have a great stable of fighters that have nothing to do with UFC.
And exactly, and
Who have they brought over from UFC just recently? Bader, Larkin, Mike McDonald's son, and
Phil
Mitrione,
Davis.
Rory McDonald, Wandy, Tito, Ken, Royce. And listen, some of those are just, as they say, for the freak shows. But listen, I don't care if Coker's a freak show guy. He makes it work. I'll watch him. I don't care who likes it. I'll watch the freak shows.
Yeah, no, exactly. They sell tickets too. I mean, that's that's what it's all about, I guess, in a way. But they do good freak shows, you know.
Well, look at it like this. Remember the great R.I.P. to Kimbo Slice, Kevin Ferguson. He was looked at by the UFC as a freak show. And then Dana noticed how many tickets and how many asses Coker was putting in seats with that guy, CBS, etc.
Exactly.
And
Millions of dollars.
suddenly we seen, who did we see on the Ultimate Fighter? And unfortunately, and I don't know if that was a lot of camera work, but they kind of exposed him a little bit, and that was shitty for me to see. But at that point, my man Kimbo was old, bad knees, etc. All right, what else do we got coming up? How about the fact that Eddie Bravo just bought Metamoris?
It's kind of awesome in a way. I mean, if he keeps it running as a big name organization as Hollick did, I mean, he already, I guess, what did he paid back all Hollick's debts and whatnot on fighters that didn't get paid.
Apparently, in two events, he had enough money to do that. And now, this is no
Now, is this
offense.
Eddie Bravo event?
It doesn't say specifically. I mean, it sounds like two of his Metamoris events, but apparently the first one's coming up. So I think the wording on that's a little funny. In any case, the Metamoris guys, they got their money from Eddie Bravo, and that's, I think, the important thing. Not bad mouthing anybody, but Eddie Bravo came in there and immediately got it under the
Made
correct
this
control.
good.
Right. Now, the next Metamoris card coming up, I believe it's July 17th. And, you're going to know a lot more of these fighters than I will because you're a jiu-jitsu practitioner, as where I'm more of a jiu-jitsu follower. But the fight, I mean, I hate to be this guy, but the fight I'm really concerned about, really happy about, is the special expedition match between Joe Rogan and Mr. Orange, Renato Laranja.
I mean, if this is true and not a joke, this is going to be epic. I mean, I got to go with Rogan in this just because he he seems like a savage, but you never know
Listen,
with
right.
Master Hanach.
Listen, Hanato is not a joke. His whole persona's joking, and we seen him. He came right to our very favorite coach's school, and he put on a great seminar. And nobody there would say, "Oh, he's a funny guy. He's a jokester." Everybody would say, "Wow, that guy has some legitimate Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills."
Exactly. He's Master Hanach.
What else we
He's
got
a
on that card?
27-time Mundell champion.
We got Gabriel Gonzaga and Aishi. That's. I'm gonna give that to my boy Gabe.
I
Team
gotta
Link.
go with Aishi just because I want Aishi. Nothing personal, Gabe.
Nothing personal, Gabe, but we all know what happens in the end. Listen, I'm gonna take Gabe on that anyway. I like everything Team Link's doing, etc. Those guys are so hard to beat at the tournaments. Remember when we would go to the tournaments and me and you would compete, and there was nothing against any schools or anything, but we got a first-hand look at how different each school is and what level they are.
Exactly.
And that was one of the funnest things about doing tournaments. And I gotta give it to the Team Link guys. Those SOBs were bad.
They were. Some of them were good.
Anyway, back to this card here, the Metamoris. And I don't know if is he gonna take are we still gonna have Metamoris cards and EBI cards, or is EBI now Metamoris?
I have no idea.
That's
We'll see.
I guess this next card will be the one, yeah. We have Rayleigh Gracie versus Tom Spriggs. Not too familiar with Spriggs, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this to Rayleigh Gracie.
Yeah, I guess. Just on name alone, I don't know nothing about Tim Spriggs.
Dylan Danish, your favorite fighter ever, versus Gilbert Burns.
Danis, I gotta go with. Actually, I gotta go with Danis because he beat my boy Joe Lozon in Metamoris, and
That's not easy to do.
no, exactly.
Shout out to Joe Lozon and local East Coast Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and MMA of any kind. Who else do we have? We have Roger Gracie's also on the card. Who's he fighting? Marcus Almeida. What do you got on that one? I don't know, man. Almeida, man, I gotta go with this. I'm gonna take Almeida. Why not?
Me too. I think he's. I don't know. He's a killer, man. Hodger is too, though. Should be a good match, actually.
Absolutely. And then once again, just to get our boy in there, Rogan versus Renato, Mr. Orange Laranja. And as much of a joke as that's gonna look like, that's an actual, real deal, serious fight, and it's gonna be great, I think. And
Joe
pardon
Hogan. I gotta go with Joe Hogan.
Jiu-jitsu match. I said fight. Yeah, I'm gonna. Damn, I don't know, man. Joe Rogan's back's out lately, but he's huge. You see his head, dude? I love my man, and this is not an insult to Joe, but man, and he admitted it. He's been taking HGH and tests for years. He looks great, but man, my favorite quick Joe Rogan story. My favorite part about him is when they're at weigh-ins and he just eye fucks the fucking the scale, waiting for a number to come up, dude. Anyway, that's coming up July 17th. Eddie Bravo has bought Metamoris and has already paid off all the people being owed money in Metamoris. This is what we read. We're not saying this because we know. And July 17th, don't miss it. All right, and for the main event, we're going to look a little bit at the UFC card, probably top 4 or 5 fights. It's the UFC 210. Not one of the greatest cards, but I think we're all pumped to see Cormier Anthony Johnson again. I was shocked at how quickly Anthony Johnson was dispatched of. The only other time I've ever seen him dispatched that quick, and this is an oddball, but it happened, Josh Koscheck destroyed him.
That is true. But I got to go with Rumble in this one. I don't know. I think he lands them hands this time. Stops the takedown. He's got it.
Cormier, I mean, and I'm not going to put him at, say, at Roy status, but he doesn't look like a fighter. But man, ever since the days, I mean, like Strikeforce and before, he is a brawler. He's a fighter. He'll pick you up and smash you. Not quite Rampage-esque, but he'll pick you up and smash you anyway. He's great. He's strong. He's got a great beard on him. But I do got to agree with you. Johnson is starving hungry, and I think he's figured out all his weight issues, all his other dramas, all his off again, on agains, etc. I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. I'm going to give you that Johnson, and I'm actually going to go ahead with a second round TKO. Do you care to give a specific?
He lands them hands. Could go any round, but I think I'm going to go with the end of the first.
I like it. Okay. So we're both picking Johnson on that. Next up, we got Weidman versus Mousasi. Mousasi's looking great right now, and Weidman isn't. So I think this is going to be a great test for Weidman, saying, hey, Weidman, are you still up in there? And no offense to Team Sarah fighters, or are you just a flash in the pan? And in his defense, he lasted a lot longer than the other flash in the pans. And this is not to say anything bad about Team Longo Sarah at all. It just happens to be a trend for some of them fighters, most of them.
I don't know, man. They're both good wrestlers.
Right.
I think Weidman's hands are a little better, honestly.
Definitely.
So Weidman keeps it standing. I'm going to go with Weidman.
If this was a couple years ago, I'd go with Weidman. If this was today, gun to head, I might even take Mousasi. Yeah, I think I just took Mousasi over Weidman.
I just don't think he out wrestles Weidman. I mean,
up next, we got Pearl Gonzalez against Cynthia Calvallo.
Don't know nothing about either of these two, unfortunately. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know anything. Here's where I'm at on this one. I don't know a lot at all about Pearl Gonzalez, and I'm picking her because of the fact of Cynthia's. I just don't see any power. A lot of speed, a lot of movement. Just, it's a sparring match. Moving along anyway, we have the once great and hopefully soon to be great again, Thiago Alves, and he's going to take on the oldest, most seasoned veteran in all of any MMA ever, Patrick Cote. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Cote.
Really?
I don't know, man. Alves hasn't been so hot after he went out with that neck injury. He was out for ever since he came back. He's on again, off again. I'm going to go with Cote.
You are not impressed with Alves?
No.
Listen, I can't. I don't care who. I don't care who he could be fighting the
He
bum
is
at
a
the
killer
bar.
though. When
He is, and
Alves can put on a good show,
oh,
but it's
definitely.
nowadays it's just I don't know, man.
I think, and I hate to insult Chuck, but I think he's got the Chuck Liddell's disease now, where his chin just can't take it anymore. I'm gonna take Alves just out of hopes. Listen. Cote could fight the local drunk at the bar, and it'll go to a decision, and that's not acceptable for me. You know what I mean? Stop being so cautious.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Anyway, that's enough before Cote's over here smacking me around. Next up at lightweight, we got Will Brooks. I love him because he came from Bellator, and we all know that, and you included, we're homers for Bellator. We go to much more live Bellator shows than anything UFC, and hey, I hope he does great over there. But he's fighting a freaking man, and Charles Oliveira is no joke.
Cowboy.
Listen, he's doing some things, amazing things. I mean, I can't say enough about him. He's firing on all cylinders, and I gotta take him over Will Brooks.
Uh, if Oliveira can stop the takedowns, yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go with Oliveira.
I think the only thing that,
Knockout at that.
yeah, I mean, I think two things. Will's gonna come in a little. He's either gonna come in a little overcautious under the UFC banner lights, or he's gonna come in with too many fireworks too soon, which Charles Oliveira will counter, and I think he'll make him pay for it. And that'll round out the main card. Is there anything else on the prelims that you like? I
Um,
think Patrick Cummins was fighting Blachowicz.
um,
I'll take.
Cummins. I gotta go with Cummins, man. He had that loss to DC, but other than that,
He
he's
hasn't looked
been
bad, right?
no. I think it's all wins actually. I'm not quite sure, but I think his only loss was to DC that time he stepped in.
I'll go with Yan. And that's, I mean, we got Miles Jury's fighting Mike Delatore. I'll take Jury for
Oh,
sure.
we got Charles Rosa, local Sitio Tong, Boston. Shout out to Mark Delagrade.
Yes, indeed.
And I believe he's only had one loss in the UFC as well, but has been killing it with performances, nice knockouts and submissions. I got to go with Charles Rosa.
Now I may be soaking wet here, but I'm pretty sure Shane is first fight in the UFC.
I'm not sure, man.
If I'm wrong on that, I apologize. And that's pretty much it for, there's a few more cards, a few more fights on that card. I gotta say, overall, this isn't the most important card of the season, but it's gonna put a few things in order, such as where is DC right now? How bad does Johnson want it? How bad does Chris Weidman want it? What's next for Musasi? What's next for Tiago and Patrick, for that matter?
Yeah.
And how serious is Will Brooks gonna be over here? And is Charles Oliveira gonna keep continuing? Etc. Etc. So that's pretty much going to do it for this edition of MMA Roundhouse. What do you think, Dustin?
Woo!
That's it. Over and out, guys. Thank you.